Good morning, traders. I am Emily Ivani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Wednesday, November 13th. What goes up must come down. Markets pulled back from their post-election rally yesterday, and all three major indices closed regular trading in the red. The Dow dropped 382 points, or nearly 0.9%. The S&P 500 gave up 17 points, or about 0.3%. The Nasdaq shed 17 points, or 0.09%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're down 0.16%. A little over 1/10%, moving in on 0.2%. We got weakness ahead of today's inflation report. One of the things I want to point out is the treasury yield, the treasury bonds, the yield on it really did spike yesterday to the highest level since July. Remember, we had that big sell-off in July and early August, and that was in anticipation of a hot reading. I'm looking at the 10-year now, and it is at 4.424, slightly lower. It's come down slightly, but it really did show a spike, and that was worrisome to me yesterday during the trading day. That could turn. We'll have to wait for that inflation report, which is expected to come in, hot. What do we see going on today? Spirt Airlines, ticker SAVE, they're expected to file for bankruptcy today. Weakness continues in super micro SMCI, with respect to their 10Q. We have some positive earnings news on Spotify, Flutter, Occidental Petroleum, and CAVA. They're all moving higher after their releases. AMGN, fell in the aftermarkets yesterday, but this morning was up 1.9%. Gotta like it. We're taking a look at the overseas action, and it is a little cautious to me. I'm looking at Europe this morning, and a couple hours ago, the DAX was up 80 points, about 0.5%. Now the DAX is down 90 points, or 0.47%. The FTSE was higher. Now it's down 13 points. It was up 28. It's now down 13 points, or 0.17%. The CAC was higher. Now it's lower by about 0.5%. Realistically, what's going on is the anticipation of a hot inflation report is causing those markets to kind of pull back a little bit. Germany had some positive earnings news. I saw that some of the mining stocks in London were trading higher, and the luxury stocks in France were showing some slight gains earlier. But now it's all up in the air because of this inflation report that's coming out this morning. You're looking last night in Asia, and Asia saw mostly lower. The Nikkei fell 654 points. That's 1.66%. There was weakness in autos, pharma, and tech stocks. The producer price data increased. For October. It increased by 3.4% year over year. And that again, this is just a continuing trend with Japan. The Hong Kong. It fell slightly, 23 points, or 0.12%. There's a lot of talk about, tariff actions by the Trump administration. I'm kind of like, not pricing that into the market because nothing has happened yet. The Trump administration isn't in power, so you shouldn't be moving on that type of news. So I'm not getting overly concerned about that yet. China, the Shanghai was higher by 0.51%. Sentiment kind of is improving due to brokerage firms are kind of raising their opinions of the economic activity in China. So that is good to see. And then we got oil. Oil is trading higher. It was up by about 1% this morning. Now it's up about 0.5%. You got WTI at $68.46. You got Brent at $72.21. Listen, it's all about the CPI report this morning and the stockpiles data this afternoon. Because remember, this afternoon you get the API, American Petroleum Institute stockpile estimates. Remember, they're 1 day late because of the Veterans Day holiday, which was on Monday. So, the data is coming out 1 day late. They're going to come out this afternoon at 4:30, and the EIA data will come out tomorrow at 11 rather than 10:30 on Wednesdays. But that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update report, Emily.
And Bill, you did point to some economic indicators that we will get to in just a moment, but you also pointed to a bunch of earnings, some earnings that came out, releases, and stocks moving higher this morning. One of those was your pick of the day yesterday, but let's get to all the earnings action. What is going on in terms of earnings?
Let's talk Flutter, ticker FLUT. Frank, Larry, Uncle Thomas. Their EPS came in. They delivered a beat, 33 cents on higher revenue. Shares of Flutter are trading higher by 5.57%. Then you get Occidental Petroleum, ticker OXY. Oscar, X-Ray, Yellow. They beat by 26 cents. Although it was done on lower revenue, stocks up about 0.7% this morning. Spotify Technologies revenue was higher. Monthly active users increased. That was good to see. You're looking at shares of Spotify; they're trading higher by 8.20% this morning. So yeah, we had some positive earnings come in last night. After the bell today, we get Cisco Systems, ticker CSCO, Charlie Sam, Charlie Oscar. Their EPS is 87 cents, and the expected move is 5.54%. Tomorrow morning, you get NetEase, NTES, Nancy, Tom, Edward, Sam. Their EPS is $1.61. Expected move is 6.47%. A little cautious on this one because video games have not been selling well for the past quarter. Remember, the big video game sales happened when, the December. So, there's a little bit of a cautious in the air with respect to that. Disney, on the other hand, ticker DIS, they're coming up tomorrow morning. Their EPS is $1.09, 1.09. Expect move is 7.26%. This could be interesting. Could be some talk of a new CEO. But with nothing against Bob Iger, he's doing a great job. But he is getting close to retirement age for the second time. But that's what I have for you in terms of earnings action, Emily.
Bill, you're keeping track of that earnings action, also looking at economic indicators, as you told us in your opening. Obviously, everybody anticipating the latest read on inflation. So give us a rundown of everything we should be watching when it comes to economic events.
Well, I mean, listen, in terms of Fed speak today at 9:45 a.m., we're going to hear from Dallas Fed Bank President Lori Logan. At 1 p.m., we're going to hear from the St. Louis Fed Bank President Alberto Musam. And at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Kansas City Fed Bank President Jeffrey Schmidt is going to be speaking. But the key report, 8:30 a.m., 1 hour before the opening bell, you get the consumer price index, the CPI data. Remember, the September CPI data rose 2.4% year over year, while the core rose 3.3% year over year. Annual inflation is likely increased to 2.6% in October. That's a 0.2% increase, mainly due to rising prices of used cars, airfare, shelter, and insurance. The October core CPI reading is expected to come in virtually the same as last month at 3.3%. If inflation comes in higher than anticipated, it could be very negative for the markets. And, we want to see that core reading come in at 3.3. That's going to be key for the markets to show stability. I don't like what I'm seeing in Europe. I don't like to see that turnaround in the markets. S&Ps were, flat now. We're showing them down 0.15%. There is cautious in the air, but all that will get resolved at 8:30 a.m. when that report comes out, Emily.
And Bill, at 8:30 a.m., as we're, trying to sift through this data, you're going to have it immediately. You're going to be able to see it as it hits the tape because you have NewsWare, and you're going to see that CPI print. So you won't be trailing behind everyone else. You'll be ahead of the game. The other area that you're watching, along with the earnings action and economic indicators this morning, you're watching other types of news, all using your NewsWare, looking at merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news. You're looking at your stocks grouped together, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Looking at doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stock. I got 14 higher, 15 lower, 1 unchanged. I'm looking at my FANG stocks this morning. Hey, a little positive action in Tesla, Netflix, and Amazon, which is good. But we're showing some weakness in Meta, Apple, and Google this morning, so we got to be a little cautious there. In terms of news hidden behind the tape this morning, Apple is considering launching a wall-mounted display capable of controlling appliances, handling video conferencing calls, and using various AI to navigate apps. great story. Not that big a deal because that sort of stuff has been around for years. I mean, it's not, what are they going to buy out the clapper? I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it sounds good because they're using the term AI in that press release. Amazon, I see ticker AMGN, they started unveiling but their Black Friday week and Cyber Monday deals, which are they're going to be out there from November 21 to December 2nd. See how long they're expanding the Black Friday week, right? It used to be a day, now it's over a week long. Tesla, listen, you see Tesla, it is trading a little higher this morning, up 1.79%. But Tesla said it's recalling, some Cybertruck electric trucks in the U.S. as a loss of power, drive power could increase the risk of crash. This is the sixth move like this this year. So got to be a little cautious with Tesla there because of the recall. In terms of Dow Jones 30 stocks, we're talking Amazon. They're planning on phasing out that ad-supported streaming service, Freevee. They're going to be moving. They're just going to really be moving the content over to Prime. Is really what's going to happen. So they're not going to have a separate app for it. AMGN, hey, the stock fell in after hours yesterday, but this morning it's trading higher. This company put out a statement this morning. They said, hey, their weight loss drug, and that bone and the issue about bone mineral density having an effect on bone mineral density. They say there is no link. There is no link. That just happens when a loss in bone mineral density is normal when you experience sudden weight loss. So they actually look at that as a positive. At the end of the day, you look at Amgen, it's up 2% this morning. So yeah, it looks good. UNH, United Healthcare, Department of Justice is suing to block their takeover of AMED. In terms of other merger news, let's talk Frontier Airlines. They pulled out of that merger bid for Spirit Airlines. You look at it, SAVE this morning, ticker SAVE, Spirit Airlines. They're expected to file bankruptcy production now. So, Spirit Airlines is down like 65% on the day. Grub Holdings, ticker GRUB, they're being sold to Wonder. Remember, Wonder is that startup from an ex-Walmart executive. DirecTV, I see that their proposed acquisition of Dish Networks is likely to be terminated after a group of bondholders rejected the revised offer. Not good. In terms of guidance news, ticker CHGG, Sam Henry, Grace. They see Q4 revenue coming in 141 million to 143 million. Street estimate had it at 161.46 million. Big downtick. RGEN, Richard Grace, Edward Nancy. They said material weakness in internal controls. That is something that they found, and they are in the process of restating their 2023 financials. Oh, that's bad. RGEN, Richard Grace, Edward Nancy. And SMCI, Super Micro, they said that they're unable to file their 10Q in a timely manner. SMCI is really, it's just, they got dropped by their auditing firm and now they can't fire them. This is not good. SMCI showing the weakness this morning. In terms of events going on today, SLF, Sam Larry Frank, this is Sun Life Financial. They're having an Investors Day today. And MasterCard is holding an investment community meeting today where a bunch of senior executives will be making presentations. Could be something there. In terms of buyback news, Griffin, ticker GIFF, Grace India, Frank. They announced a new 400 million share buyback plan. Flutter Entertainment, ticker FLUT, they announced a 350 million share buyback program. This is the first segment in that 5 billion share buyback program that they announced in September. And Treehouse Foods, ticker THS, Tom Henry Sam, their board approved a 400 million share repurchasing plan. But that's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning. Then.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
We'll go with JD.com, ticker JD, John David. Earnings are out tomorrow morning. EPS is $1.09. Expected move is 8.37%. Yesterday's call volume, 92,329 versus put volume of 44,608. more than 2 to 1. Call open interest, 1,221,199 versus put open interest of 497,289. Again, more than 2 to 1. Major brokers are positive on JD.com. They are raising price targets. But you know what? I know that we got that CPI number coming out, and that could cause some weakness in the stock. So I'll hedge and I'll say 36 or under. Stocks trading 36.31 to 36.42. I don't mind paying 36.25 for it, but it really depends on what that a number comes out if it runs in hot. But my pick of the day today is JD.com, John David. I expect him to move at least 1%. And if I see that gain, I'm taking it, Emily.
Bill, taking that gain when you see it, if you see it in JD.com today, we will follow that along with you. And coming up, we will do that recap of yesterday's pick of the day, as I promised. So stick with us. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Liberty Broadband, trading halted, news pending. Dayforce announced Dayforce AI agents. Remember, we said there yesterday, we told you they were having an investors day today. Ticker FOUR, Shift4 Payments announces a partnership with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wonder to acquire Grubhub from JustEatTakeaway.com for $650 million. And ticker NVO, Nancy Victor Oscar. Citibank added it to its European #1 list of top ideas. NVO, Novo Nordisk. That's interesting. It has sold off hard. Disney eyes more candidates to succeed Bob Iger. I guess that's all I'm saying this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we sign off, today, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day. We pointed out earlier in the show was FLUT Entertainment. You did give us their earnings during your earnings report. They reported a Q3 adjusted EPS of 43 cents. And the consensus there had only been 10 cents. They reported a Q3 revenue of $3.25 billion. The consensus was $3.06 billion. CEO Peter Jackson commented Flutter had an excellent quarter with revenue growth accelerating to 27%. You also gave us that piece of news on their buyback program during your NewsWare alerts breakdown. Bill, after earnings, this one really saw some momentum. How did your call work out?
It worked out fabulous. I mean, listen, the stock opened up at $242.35 yesterday. $242.35. That was the low of the day. Remember, it was trading off. It was down like $10, in the pre-market, and I went with it still. And it opened up 242.35, and then it ran and it hit a high of 249.33, well more than the 1%. And I took it and walk away. It closed at 249.17, so still positive. But you look at the stock this morning, and FLUT is up $12. It's trading 260.85, up another 5%. So yeah, Flutter Entertainment, ticker FLUT, Frank Larry Uncle Toy. I mean, this was a good winner. This was a big winner. I was very happy with it. Very happy, Emily. Very happy.
A good win there, Bill, and I will remind our listeners that this was a day in a sea of red. You were able to walk out with a good gain there, and we will check in with you tomorrow about today's JD.com pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow on each weekday morning with NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.